Good morning, Bethany Limley here, and this is going to be a very short video because it's so early in the morning. I like to make this video because I want people to understand my house is not always that messy. Like you would probably see in most of my videos. My house is usually pretty clean and everything, but anyway, reason my house was that messy because I was always gone every day for 6 hours or plus for medical appointments, and a lot of the stuff that made the house look messy was Josiah's belongings and his needs and his things. And as you see, there is bags of clothes along the walls in some of those videos. Keep it up in mind that I live in an apartment building that has 6 two-bedroom units in 2 different buildings, and there's only 2 washers and two dryers. So I never really had a chance to constantly wash my clothes like I do now and everything. But for everything else, I did at least went to the laundromat in Athens once a week. At Goods Laundry when I had my orders. So if you want to get mouthy and say, well, that's probably why she lost her kids, you have no idea, know nothing about why I lost my kids like you think you do. Every person who's a single mom in a townhouse, who has to keep the whole townhouse picked up on a daily basis with a toddler who wants to just constantly throw stuff all over the place and get into stuff, don't say anything till you live my life. And because of the fact that I couldn't do laundry as much as possible, that's why you see the bags of dirty clothes. But the thing is, I always had plenty of clothes for Josiah or Dylan. I always had plenty of clothes. They never wore dirty clothes and everything. And also I do a lot of online ordering to be delivered to my house. And at the time, I had over $1,500 of income because one of the checks was my son's, and that went to like rent, electric, bills, food, diapers, clothes, laundry, cab services if I needed to get him to a doctor at the last minute. So before anyone says makes me a bad mother because my house was messy, you don't know me. Don't judge me. Don't judge someone because the house was so dirty. I mean, there's people who has the apartments and houses all the way stuck up to the ceiling of nothing but trash. So just a little bit messy in my apartment is not a good reason to sit there and bash people. And I'm just putting this video out way ahead of time before that does happen. To get myself set straight for everyone who might judge me in this evil world. So before you judge me, watch this video. Because just because my house was a little dirty, a little cluttered, doesn't make me a bad mom. That's normal. And sometimes when I was getting packages, I would sometimes get 10 packages a day. And that takes time. That takes time to unpack, take the boxes to the dumpster, get stuff put up. That takes time. And I can usually order anywhere from 40 to 80 items a month. And sometimes a lot of it coming at the same time. So for anyone who is CPS supporters, just know I can't control when my stuff gets delivered or when it gets delivered. So don't even start running your mouth. And they once said I didn't have a baby gate. I had a baby gate. I ordered it, and it came in to 24 hours later after stealing my kids by lies and perjury that Sue Meeks, and that ACCS decided to do so they could take my kid, because they don't support single moms on welfare. They don't support someone who was on an IEP in school, and that's just discrimination. And because they could legally use that stuff against me, they made some serious accusations on me that was not true, just because they don't think person on welfare should have kids. That is intentional lying and intentional harassing a family because they're different. That's illegal. Perjury is lying under oath, changing evidence. Perjury is everything that you could think of. And perjury is also when a caseworker or a doctor or a therapist intentionally lies to just take your kids away. That's illegal in all 50 states. So for those who say there's no such thing in Ohio, think again. Do your research. And everyone who has seen me work my kids, took care of my kids, they know I'm a hell of a good mother. They always say, my God, Bethany, you're such a fit mother. And all people want to do is backsass me, and run the mouth just because I'm different. Well, you know what? Everybody's different. But does that mean that they should lose their kids? No. You know, in this county I'm in, there's more people on SSI than any other state who loses their kids because of discrimination, because you have a limited income. That's neglect or dependency. Although your child's needs are always met, always had plenty of food, always had clean clothes, always had the medication, always went to their appointments and got everything they needed, then some. But yet, because they're on SSI, they lose their kids because they're such an easy target. So anyone on SSI, stop having kids if you're in Ohio, unless you want to lose your kids if you're in this county I'm in, because these people are corrupt, and they will use that against you, try to say you can't take care of your kid because you're on SSI, when you have every proof that you're on SSI to the judges. Even that proof doesn't matter. So my advice for anyone in the United States of America, if you're on SSI, do not have kids. Our goal is to shut these organizations down and make sure no other families get affected by the corruption and the perjury of lies. Excuse me. The perjury and lies that they do to take a person on SSI's kids away. Our goal is to get everyone shut down, and hopefully all the kids get returned to those on SSI and to the other ones who wrongfully lost their kids from perjury. And the whole point of this video is to show the truth, to explain the truth of what people do. And yeah, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. My kids had their own sleep area. My kids had their own room. My bills were always paid. Sometimes they were paid in advance. My cabinets and my refrigerator and freezer was always overflowing food for the kids and everything. I always had plenty of formula, diapers, wipes, clothes, toys, the basics, hygiene. I had everything, then some. But they can't get past the litter issue, people on SSI, and they try to get them for dependency, neglect, because they're on SSI. But legally, they can't use that because that's our amendment right to have and not be judged or lose our kids because we're on SSI. So this is how they manipulate the courts. Fraudulent evidence, changing evidence, destroying evidence that will go against everything they will say. Then they'll lie to the judge, oh, we wasn't aware of that, when they're damn well was aware of that and everything. And then they will lie in perjury, meaning lying to just rip someone's kids away. And must remind you again, perjury in all 50 states is legal, and it violates our constitutional rights. It violates People on Disability Act to not be discriminated against because we have kids on SSI. But judges don't even follow the Constitution. You don't have rights in the court system. You don't have rights when it comes to the government. places like that. Though constitutional rights say we have rights to not be judged, to not have a disability or a child's disability held against us. And that's the stuff they did. They used I was on IEP against me, which that is against the constitutional right. They used against me that I was on SSI. Again, that violates a constitutional right of my right to be a parent. And they use against me that my child has autism. Heads up, y'all. Autism is in the genetics. And it's not in my genetics. So, because I went through all the genetic testing with my second. And there's a lot of tests they can do to see what's in your genetics just by blood. And all my genetics are normal. Except, of course, the overweight and stuff like that, and the basic, like, GERD and stuff like that. That stuff won't show up on the test. I had GERD. I was a failure to thrive baby. I had other things that was wrong with me. And there's stuff that does not show up on the genetic testing that are genetics. Genetic testing when you're pregnant is very difficult subject to talk about, and people do get offended. Genetic testing is not as easy to explain that you people think it is. So basically, genetic testing like basically tests for cerebral palsy, stuff like that, but it does not pick up if you have GERD or failure to thrive. Only way to figure that out is getting your medical records from a doctors and from the hospital that you was going to as a kid. And that's what I did. I got my hospital records from Knox Community Hospital in Knox County, Ohio, which is above Columbus, Ohio. And that's how I found out I was a failure to thrive baby, that I had GERD as a child, and I still have GERD. And for everyone who says you outgrow GERD, no, you don't. You don't outgrow GERD. Anyone who tells you that is crazy. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't have to be on GERD medicine as an adult, almost 30 years old. So, basically, these people will do everything they can to commit perjury, to take your kids away just because they don't like the fact that you're on welfare or on SSI. So just be on the lookout, and if I was you, try to record every interaction you have with Children's Services. I wasn't able to do that because Children's Services somehow they knew I was going to record them, and they had the police force me to turn my phone over before they had the police attack me 3 hours later, and so I won't record the police brutality for the unconstitutional things they did to me. So someone had to tell Children's Services that I was going to record them, and I couldn't get more evidence to prove my innocence because 2 to 4 hours before they took my kids, they confiscated all my phones. I had to purchase a new phone because they did such an unconstitutional thing. And my rights and my constitutional right, I have the right to record, to protect myself, to protect perjury that these CPS workers do. And I couldn't protect myself from that because they confiscated my phone 4 hours prior to taking my kid on December 3rd, 2018. There was no warrant. They didn't get the removal to 2 weeks later. Yeah. But yeah, between them and the courts, they was able to commit fraud and change that stuff around. And no one's going to listen to someone that has a disability because they don't think they know nothing. I got news for you. I completed 5 college university classes on a university level courses, and I know my stuff. So I had to do an essay on CPS court corruption. I did an essay on defense spending. I did other essays that I needed to do in my classes. So in 5 weeks I had to write 4 different essays. So I know my stuff. I've done the research. And the university library has up-to-date, accurate information. And that's what I use to do my essays. So, also, when I got my essays back, which it was all online, but when I got my essays back, sorry, I can't talk this morning. So when I got my essays back, I aced them. I aced both essays, and I can't remember the rest of the essays I did. Those were the two main ones that I was really into and interested in that I remember. And I did those essays a couple years ago. So when people want to say people with disabilities are unfit, just know that's not true. Just because you see someone's house a mess does not mean they're lazy and not taking care of the basic household essentials, cleaning, because that's not the case. Not always. In my case, that wasn't the case. I was constantly getting deliveries and everything, and literally about 15 to 20 minutes before they took my kid illegally from perjury and from Sue Meek's lies, which is perjury, and intentionally to destroy my family, I literally got 6 more packages delivered. So I didn't have time in 20 minutes to put all that stuff away. And I was working on it before all that stuff happened. And they say, well, her house is a mess. No, bitch, my house is not a mess. I just got 6 packages delivered. So before you even judge somebody because of how their house is, know the story. Know what they do. Know what they was doing to be behind. Know the truth and not judge somebody. So if you would, please like and subscribe to my channel. And please feel free to share my videos. Alright, take care. Peace.